Hey party peeps, it's the MangaMan here with a new video series. In this series, I like to talk with other otaku about certain topics in manga and anime. I call it the Otaku Corner. Now please enjoy myself and my friend Geoff as we talk about the supposed Big Three anime. This is the MangaMan with my friend Geoff here, and we're talking about getting more in depth into the big three anime: Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. I don't even like to call them the big three though, because there are so many other series that have gone a lot longer and that are still going.
Hitman Reborn.
Case Closed.
Case Closed, one of my favorite animes. I've only watched the 25 they put on Adult Swim, but
Yeah.
hell, I'd like to watch more.
There's so many other ones that are still running as like a constant storyline.
The reason why we'd probably say the big three is those big three are the three that were shown in America.
That are the most popular.
The most popular in America.
Mm-hmm.
One Piece itself is, yes, very popular in Japan. Same with Naruto, I assume. I'm not sure anymore because of the, 400 episodes of filler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bleach itself as well. I love Bleach, but it has filler in all the wrong spots.
Yeah, interrupting big major battle scenes. I mean, you don't do that. At least with Naruto, they had the courtesy of, like, putting the filler after a fight scene. They didn't, like, interrupt a big major fight scene, like with the Grimjaw thing.
I know.
The Grimjaw! Why? And they interrupted for this little girl who was, like, some sort of royalty in the Soul Society.
The story of it, me and my buddies had a bet going on how long that would last. And I said it wasn't going to last long. And since there is a captain missing, I thought the captain they were going to introduce was actually going to be one they were going to stay, and I was like, finally, they're going to do something that's going to stick in the story. I don't actually know because I wasn't reading the manga at the time.
Yeah.
And, well, soon do I learn, $50 later, that I lost the bet and the man died, and it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I mean, you bring in Yamamoto, and I'm like, that man is going to beat the shit out of somebody. Even in the normal series, they take that character, the Yamamoto, and have him fight against Aizen. He fights against Aizen and technically loses. But you have this character show up, and the first time you're going to see him actually show a display of strength outside of the one episode.
Which one's Yamamoto?
Yamamoto's number one. Old Man Yamamoto.
Yeah.
I do believe I'm saying the name wrong. I apologize if I'm butchering the name, but I'm English-speaking person.
We are Americans.
You have the same problem with Naruto and stuff like that. You have certain characters who you'd wish not to die, but for certain plot devices actually do need to die. Kakashi being one of them. I think so. I'm probably terribly wrong. I actually don't know.
Hinata was thought to have died, but she was okay.
She's okay.
She's okay. Ken was happy about that.
Hinata dying. Seeming to die.
Spoilers!
Yes, spoiler. Then you have One Piece. I have yet to watch most of One Piece.
I have watched One Piece, and One Piece does a good job at only having 2 episodes of filler maximum.
Or more. There are cases I think of up to 5.
Yeah,
but it's those 5 episodes, and then he goes straight into the storyline. The problem is he does the thing that DBZ does, which is he'll take that storyline, those giant fucking fights, and stretch them out over several episodes. And in reality, they only lasted a couple of pages in the manga.
Yes. So, like, you'll have a number of pages where the guys are kind of staring at each other.
Dramatic stare. And then back to story. The major problem with these, is we were actually discussing, is if they were to take them in the DVD releases and take the filler and just edit it out completely. The problem is you have certain people, as myself, I can't believe I'm actually going to admit this, but I actually liked the Bound arc in Bleach. Now, if you were to remove that, I'd be kind of unhappy because I thought it was interesting to see how the story would develop through these other, what's the word? They're the other type of spiritual eaters, I guess you could say. You have the Soul Reapers who end up destroying the souls, but basically
Shinigami.
So you have the Shinigami, you have the Hollow, and then you have the Quincy. Now, all 3 of those are interesting enough, but if you have this 4th one, it can't hurt anything. It makes more sense for that to be in there. It also gives you an idea of what the vampires do.
I remember the Bound. Yeah, those were those vampiric-like
They were
eaters.
vampiric-like eaters. I'm sorry, that was kind of stupid, but you could have gone some other way with it. Another arc I liked is when they had the swords themselves have characters themselves.
The
Zanpakuto arc was actually very well done.
I liked that one because it's like, I want to see some of this, I want to see some of this, I want to see some of this.
I know. It made everything much better. I actually wanted to see Wabaku. Well, not Wabaku.
The one with the hook sword?
The hook sword itself.
Yeah.
I thought it had a very interesting looking character to it. I mean, you don't need any storyline. The characters themselves represent the sword perfectly.
I love his Zanpakuto too.
I know, it was very well done. But then you have that princess arc like we were talking about. It's some shitty-ass piece of shit.
Princess arc.
Right now, they're on filler right now. I'm to assume. I actually don't know. They're introducing a new villain type, which is kind of pissing me off.
Another new villain type?
You have the Hollow, and then you have something like a Hollow. They have escaped from hell.
Wait, the Hollow plane wasn't hell?
No, that's the Hollow plane.
So how many planes are there?
The Soul Society, which is heaven, technically.
Okay.
You have hell.
Yeah.
Then you have the Huecamundo, if you will.
Huecamundo.
Which is actually the council part. The entire idea of the Arankar being like the Reapers themselves was actually completely awesome, I thought. But in Hell, I mean, they've only brought up the Gates of Hell a couple times in the series.
Oh yeah.
Right before the Bount arc, which was actually fantastic, putting that the way they did. At the beginning of the Bount arc, it was actually a very good way of putting the filler in. It was, they had that episode and they left it cliffhanger, and then they brought up the arc. That would have pissed people off. I watched the arc all the way through, but at the very end of the arc, when they bring it back to normal, they pop it back down that episode. They pop it down the episode with a couple of the characters, even though they are the fucking puppets, which no one really cares about, the other mod souls. And pop it in, and it was actually very well done, I thought.
The thing with even with the good fillers of Bleach, particularly since we're talking about those, the thing with the Bleach fillers is that some of them that we talked about have had good starts to them, but it's just that you feel like their endings were not very satisfying.
No, the ending is very abrupt and done, and it's like you have the story that is developed in front of us. I understand that you needed to end it now because you guys had finally caught up on the manga.
Yeah, hooray!
Yeah, hooray.